Yeah, you might notice the turnout's a bit down. Totally nothing to
bit.
do with the fact that we're in Monaco at all, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, I think it's
Not
got
like they
nothing to do
can't
with
be
that.
bothered to race, no.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, 100% not because people hate it.
No. Why would it be? Slight issue, my dinner's just arrived. I'm gonna stay here, but it's alright.
To be fair, I need to keep my controller on charge as long as possible because it's basically like I forgot to plug it in.
Oh wow.
It's the flashing empty battery, so I need to
No.
take every single second I can to charge
Yeah.
it. Hopefully, if it's up to 1 bar, it usually lasts an hour. So I
Yeah.
get it to 1 bar, then it
Should be
should
alright.
stand the test of time. Yeah, it should last the whole stream. But it's gonna be close. That's all I can say.
Classic PlayStation batteries.
Yeah.
I've never actually had an issue with my controller battery, really.
No.
I'm charging it. Oh, I mean, it is on charge right now.
No, I just basically my controller lead's a little bit broken, so
Yeah.
I had it plugged in but didn't realise it wasn't charging, and I looked down
Okay.
and saw it was still empty battery. I was thinking, oh no, not this.
Could it go worse?
Yeah, well, it could get worse. No, it
Yeah,
could,
true. It could be not here.
yeah,
Oh.
could get a lot worse. So, yeah, it's alright.
GGJ by half a second. Mad.
Yeah, but it's probably not going to be wet.
Yeah, I hope not.
So,
It's gonna be a
it's bad
very
enough.
long night.
It's bad enough in the dry.
Yeah.
I think there's a thing on Monaco where the safety car doesn't get deployed, or it's very hard
Yeah.
to get the safety car to be deployed.
Okay. I think it's like a maximum of 3, isn't it? 3 safety cars in the race.
Maybe.
And the rest
Yeah,
is
maybe.
VSCs.
I just remember on the F121 game, for some reason it was almost impossible to get a safety car on
Yeah.
Monaco. There was like
Oh,
some kind of
Misfield game.
yeah. I like commentating on it. I thought the interface on the spectator mode was better.
Oh, mate.
I think it's because they've developed it for 2 different generations, so this game's a little bit just all over the place.
Sorry, mate. Just give me 1 second.
Alright. Oh man, I thought the F1 chat was bad. I've got bloody grown men in their 30s and 40s arguing over the touring car chat at the moment. Oh my god. It's funny. I think some of them are in here. Oh, fucking hell. Some of them are in here. Hello guys. I wasn't talking about you.
Alright, I'm back.
I just said something on the chat thinking you were there listening, and I just
Oh,
realised
right.
that some of the people who I was talking about, I was just saying how it's funny when you have all the, like, you know, everyone who races in the F1 league, most of the people who race in the F1 league are young, sort of like
Okay, yeah.
teens and 20s, and that. And like, I was saying that how it's funny when you have the F1 chat going off. I've got people
Yeah.
in like their 30s and 40s having a go at each other in the touring car chat.
Oh,
Over something
no
that happened
way.
yesterday.
Oh my god.
There's an argument
Do it
going off
one
in the
time.
chat over something that happened yesterday. Oh my god, man. It's brilliant.
Grow up. It's lovely how sim racing causes all these troubles.
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. Well, the thing is, like, everyone in the F1 league is young, so you kind of expect it. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's kind of keep grinding each other.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
I
adults.
love you, boys.
Oh my god. Wow. Interesting stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
man,
gonna
when's
plug
are
the
we
mic
streaming
in.
it?
Yeah, I'm just going to plug it in. Let's go for it. Let's do it. If I have to switch to my headphones rather than my studio mic midway, it is what it is.
Alright, oh god, there you go.
Yeah, it should sound better now.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, audio is way better now. I sound like a different person with my studio mic.
You do as well.
Literally a different person. My studio mic's much more how I sound in real life. The
Yeah.
headphones don't really sort of show me in the way that I really sound. I sound a lot more high pitched and a lot more kiddish in the with the headphones on. For some reason, it just makes my voice makes me sound like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
My headphones. I don't know why.
I think mine are quite accurate to be fair. Although I hate listening to my voice, so.
I think it's probably because I wore them out because I've done so much commentating. That's probably why.
Worn them out.
Seriously, I think it's probably that. Honestly, I really do.
God.
Right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing channel. We are here for the sprint race at Monaco tonight for round 7 of the season. A 22-round season, third of the way into it tonight, and what a night we've got on store here. 13 drivers out on the track, a bit of a depleted grid down to the fact that we're doing Monaco, and I think a lot of people were running scared tonight, let's be real. But Max GT, we're here, and what a night this promises to be.
Oh, Monaco. Do we need to say more, really?
We really don't, do we? Here we are. It's almost lights out for the sprint race here at Monaco. And it is lights out and away we go. And it looks like GGJ gets a good start off the line as Crazy Max gets a slightly better start than Dem Specky up towards Sandoval we go. And for the time being, no changes in the top 4, but Tezamaz has got ahead of Dirk Turp up into 5th place. The Mutts Nuts has got ahead of 1,000 Corn up into 8th. And other than that, it's a very clean first corner here.
Wow, that's shocking. I've never seen that in my life. Top 6 as they were. A bit of scrapping going on between the Mutts Nuts and the Denny Boy falling a few positions there. But really clean race, and luckily we've got away unscathed.
Oh, T trying to go for a lunge here on the inside. Or rather, it was Denny Boy actually trying to have a lunge on T going into Portier. Oh, as we see somebody go something on the inside. Twitch Storm storming the inside there of T and loses out massively. He's down to the back of the pack there, is Twitch Storm. So he's had an absolute nightmare there coming through the Lowe's hairpin, and he's out of the race here on the first lap.
Yeah, that was astounding. He could have kept going, but he accelerated into the wall. So yeah, great.
Oh, Bennett! No, Crazy Max, sorry. Crazy Max is out of the race. Oh my goodness. I was actually riding on board with him there. He'd just been passed by Bennett going through the Nouvelle chicane, and he ended up clipping the wall on the left-hand side. His tyre's gone off. His car's been written off there, and his team are going to have to really rush to get that ready for the Grand Prix.
Yeah, some big names already out of the race. Twitch Storms made that little mistake there. Crazy Max, I don't know what happened because I wasn't on board. But through turn 1 they go. GGJ from Dem Specky, the main championship rivals with Bennett in the Ferrari even, 3rd place. And we've got one missing Red Bull.
1,000 Corn.
Yeah, one Red Bull. Who's the other Red Bull? I completely forgot who's the other Red Bull. Yeah.
Was it? Oh no, it was 1,000 Corn. No, he's in the.
Vincent Janssen.
What's 1,000 Corn in? Oh, you mean usually, yeah, Vincent Janssen. Vincent Janssen is he's got a qualifying ban for tonight, but due to his deliberate crash when he took out Dem Specky last week in the Spanish Grand Prix, so obviously he's serving that ban tonight, and he decided he wasn't going to race anyway, so he basically was going to miss out on qualifying. He misses out on the entire race instead because we actually reviewed the incident and decided to halve his penalty down to the fact that he might have been provoked a little bit by the dive bomb at the previous corner.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, so Red Bull already at a little bit of a disadvantage, but so far so good. The driving etiquette has been to a normal standard, unlike last week. So yeah, very solid start. And Dem Specky is sticking within the DRS of GGJ. Aussie with a 3-second penalty there already in lap 3. And yeah, as you were for the top 2.
Absolutely, these two, the top 2 in the championship right now, so they've been bossing it out over the course of this season so far. There's a bit of a rivalry between these two. It's not been all plain sailing, it's not been all chivalrous and fun and games between these two. There has been words said, there have been fallouts, and they did used to be quite good friends, but recently tensions have ramped up between this man GGJ and Dem Specky as well. So what's going to happen? Let's hope they can keep it clean. So far so good here in the opening few laps here at Monaco, as they're gapping Bennett considerably. Bennett's now nearly 4 seconds off for the leaders. GGJ just losing a bit of time, or rather Dem Specky losing a bit of time there to GGJ coming through under the tunnel. But Bennett there running in 3rd place. He's a couple of seconds ahead of Teza Muzza as Street Boys on the back of the Mutts Nuts and trying to pressure him for 6th place right now as they're coming under the tunnel. They're just under a second ahead of T, who's running in 8th place. So let's keep an eye on this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th places right now. Also keeping an eye on the timing board to see if Dem Specky gets a little bit closer to GGJ. But I'm currently running on board with T, who just seemed to gain a bit on Street Boy going through the Nouvelle chicane. But yeah, very clean start in terms of no one taking each other out. We've had 3 drivers retiring on the first lap of the race, but since then they've all kind of settled down. The tyres are now up to temperature and they're kind of all working in a range where I think they're comfortable here. Noticing here that Ozzy Albi in the McLaren has got a missing front wing, so he's obviously gone steaming into the barriers a little bit too hot-headed and has lost out as a result. But the gap at the front between GGJ and Demspecki is still just under a second, as he's got a time penalty there for multiple track limit warnings. So the drivers running 8th, 9th and 10th have all got track limit penalties so far in this race. Oh, as Ozzy Albi's crashed out, he puts it in the wall there going through to the back. We've got double A to the flags through sector 2 and 3, but no safety car. And Ozzy Albi here out of the race and will score nil points for this sprint race.
Yeah, it's no shock really, no front wing, no downforce, so pretty easy to make a mistake, and well, severely easy to make a mistake. But yeah, Demspecki, oh god, that was so close. The ghost of Ozzy Albi there he ghosted through him. Gave me a little bit of a shock there, but yeah, Demspecki gained about 4/10 through this sector here, so we can clearly see where his advantages lay, and it's through here where he loses a little bit of time. Demspecki, I don't know whether he's gone for a lower downforce setup, just slightly. He can't run too low downforce in Monaco, otherwise he'll just be in the wall instantly with no grip. But yeah, through this sector, Demspecki seems to be just quite equal. I mean, even quicker than GGJ through this section specifically. And Demspecki just looks more comfortable in the car. I don't know whether it's just, I don't know what it is really, but I guess we'll see how it plays out through the race.
Yeah, at times Demspecki's definitely been a more consistent driver. GGJ can be prone to the odd mistake. Demspecki definitely is one who can. He's very comfortable out in the lead. So when he hits the front, he's a driver who generally doesn't surrender his leads very easily. But currently GGJ has got track position, so that's going to be key in this race, because as we all know, track position at Monaco means a hell of a lot. GGJ, obviously, his one weakness this season has really been qualifying. He tends to get out-qualified by Demspecki, but obviously tonight, putting it on pole position, it's a big chance for him to really capitalise. He generally is quicker in the races. Oh, Demspecki's got a 3-second time penalty there. Ouch. For track limits. Oh dear.
That shouldn't harm him, because Bennett is 5 seconds back, but that's going to restrict his chances severely of getting a win tonight. In the sprint race, that is. Who knows what will happen in the main race, but yeah, definitely a disadvantage to Demspecki.
Absolutely, yeah. So he not only needs to get ahead of GGJ, he'd also need to play out 3 seconds to him. So he's really got his work cut out here. Is he just now going to tuck in and be patient in this sprint race? Maybe know that he's got some good points in the bag. 7 points for a second place here in the sprint race. He'll only score 1 less than GGJ, so it's not really worth, I think, taking any risks here in this sprint race. He's better off just waiting, taking the points, minimising the loss, and going again there for the Grand Prix, where you can gain 7 points on the arrival for a race win if you pull the right strategy. Street Boy nonetheless into the pits, and he's putting some fresh mediums on, so he's obviously had a bit of an incident which has caused him damage, and he's going to be coming out in a few moments' time.
Yeah, so definitely, you're completely correct. I mean, if Demspecki stays second, that's only going to be a 1 point loss to GGJ, which can be easily just gained back in the race. And we know what they're like in the past couple of races. Easy incidents, and by just parking the bus and not risking too much, Demspecki, he can just finish the race comfortably and get the 7 points.
Absolutely, as we see these two coming down towards Sandoval here. Demspecki had a bit of a run, DRS as well, but couldn't get close enough to make the move. I tell you what, he's clearly quicker than GGJ at this point, but he just can't seem to find a gap. I mean, he's going to be tempted to go for that move and gain that extra point. Obviously, it'll be a 2 point swing if he can gain a point rather than lose a point. So there is something to gain for him here. He's looking, isn't he? And I can tell you what, this is brewing here between these two. This is potentially getting a little bit too spicy here right now. Oh, Demspecki gets the curb! Wow, he just got sent into orbit there as he went through the Lowe's hairpin. That looked like there was like a spring in that curve or something.
Wow. I've never seen that in my lifetime before. Surely that he's got to have a word about that to someone, or express his feelings.
Yeah, the laws of physics didn't really give a damn there, I must say. Oh, look, there's a spark. Do you see that on your screen? There was a spark in the fence. Yeah, as they're coming out of the Nouvelle Chicane, you can see there's like a sparkler in the fence.
That must have been where someone clicked it then, and it's just stayed there.
Yeah,
I've seen that glitch before, but wow, in a lap there's been 2 glitches. So
it looks like the fans just thrown a sparkler into the fence next to the track, and it's just sat there just sizzling. It's incredible.
Clearly a GGJ fan.
Oh, definitely so. But currently, then we've got these two. It looks like GGJ has now got the gap a little bit more comfortable here to Demspecki. He's looking like he just needs to keep it cool in this one because it's so hard to pass around this track. There's really nowhere realistic that Demspecki can make the move. He needs to simply be monumentally quicker than GGJ to be able to get ahead of him. So GGJ knows he's just got to basically make no mistakes here in this sprint race and he'll be able to gain a point on his championship rival.
That's way easier said than done around Monaco. One slip up and you're in the wall.
100%. So he needs to just keep it cool and calm and not slip up anymore. So I'd say anymore. He hasn't slipped up at all so far in this race. He's been foot perfect, but Demspecki's definitely the quickest driver at this point. But these two, top two in the championship coming into tonight. GGJ leads the way on 123 points, only 15 clear of Demspecki, sat in second on 108. So these two, the main championship contenders. Tezamaz are not a million miles off. He's 37 points off of the championship lead, down in third place, but he's losing points to these two tonight. Bennett in fourth in the championship on 65. Really needs to string some good results together this season if he is to bring himself into that fight, as he's currently running in third place, outscoring Tezamaz. But the constructors' battle this season also very close. Red Bull 10 points clear of Ferrari, but with one of their main men, Vincent Janssen, not here tonight, they're going to be losing an enormous amount of points here. So GGJ really has got pressure on him tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely the leading horse in the Red Bull of GGJ. Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ferrari left Monaco this evening with the lead of the championship in the constructors.
Absolutely. Even if GGJ, for just say for argument's sake, or let's just say that he were to take the double tonight for whatever reason, let's just say he were to take the full 8 points in the sprint race and the 25 in the race, then it'd be 33 points for the night. But obviously if Demspecki comes second, Bennett comes third in this one, 14 points in the bag for the sprint, and then you take the Grand Prix where they'd score 33 for a second and a third. Say for example that's 47 points. They'd outscore Red Bull by 22 points, which would put them 12 points clear. That's if GTJ wins both races and the Ferraris come second and third. Let's just say that were to happen. I mean, it's just like an example. You know, it's like you say, it's really likely that Red Bull are going to get headed in that battle, and that's a shame, obviously. But Vincent Janssen, as we said before, would have served a qualifying ban tonight, and maybe he's still. It's not worth the effort to try and come back from the back at Monaco. And yeah, I mean, to be fair though, with the sprint race, you know, it's not the end of the world getting a qualifying ban. Certainly not the end of the world.
Not at all. But here we go. Tezamaz is looking right in the back of Bennett there. That was very close. Thought about a move. But next time, really, he can't do much as Monaco. And you just have to wait for an opportunity to rise, whether, albeit Bennett making a mistake, locking up, having a bit of wheel spin. You have to just stay on their rear wing and just look for any mistakes at all and just feed off of that.
Absolutely. We can see Denny Boy here on the back of Tears. These guys are battling out over 7th place right now. They're just coming out of Casino and down towards Portier once again. But these two both got penalties in this race. I don't know if they're in the same boat in terms of the amount of penalties that they've got, but it could make a difference here. It could not. Yeah, they've both got 6 seconds worth actually, so they're going to be battling for position as it stands here in this race. Gap at the front still just under a second between GGJ and Demspecki. Tezamaz though has gained on Bennett over the last few laps, and he now finds himself within striking distance of a 3rd place here as they're coming down towards Sandoval here for the 11th time in this race. And I tell you what, Tezamaz is going to be eyeing up this position here. Said to me earlier on, said to me in the week that him doing the standings is actually a mutually beneficial venture, because actually, he tags him in the rear. Wow, close stuff there. Bennett holds onto it, and Tezamaz I think was waiting for him because he knew that he'd helped him round.
Yeah, Tezzy used it there, because if he ran away with that, that would have been a slam dunk penalty, but he did wait for Bennett, so yeah, no harm done there.
Absolutely, so good stuff there from those two, managing to marshal themselves very nicely indeed. But yeah, I mean, I was saying before, like Tezamaz, obviously him doing the championship standings, he said it's mutually beneficial because he wants to know where he is in the points, he wants to know where he is in that title race. Currently he's just under 40 points adrift, so he's got work to do in this battle for the championship. He's obviously down in 4th place, but pressuring the back of Bennett right now as Denny Boy's got ahead of T up into 7th place. So pardon me, that was a hiccup, I do apologise, but that's Denny Boy there moving up position. He's already pulled out a second here to T since getting ahead of him as well. So yeah, Danny Boy looking quite good in that 7th place right now, but back to the battle for 3rd place. You can see Tezza Mazza getting closer and closer to the back of Bennett, but still just a little bit too far away as they come out of Sandoval and up the hill once again. Demspecky's still within a second of GGJ right now as these two going down towards Lowe's hairpin. You can see Demspecky goes a little bit deep through the corner, but actually getting quite a good run through there nonetheless. But sorry mate.
That's right. You would have thought that Dennis Becker would have accepted his fate at this point, but he's still just charging after Red Bull or GGJ because he wants this win. But yeah, I think he might as well just stay back and accept and just minimise the chance of making another mistake and damaging his race anymore. He's still trying to get in reach of striking distance of GGJ, but I don't think it's going to happen, so I think he might as well just back off. He's got a 15-second gap to Bennett, his teammate, behind, so I think he should just chill, lay back on this final lap and just minimise mistakes.
I think you're absolutely right there. Let's see what he does though, because we know that those two, there's a lot of pride at stake between them two. It's not just about the championship, it's not just about winning the race, it's about getting one over on each other in a lot of these instances. He's not going to be too bothered about the penalty, I'm sure. He will want to still get ahead of him. But Tezza Mazza, I'll tell you what, he's got a great run out of Anthony Noakes and down the straight we go. He's looking to the inside here on Bennett. Bennett's going to give him the space here, and Tezza Mazza pulls off a great move. Oh, he gets a time penalty! Oh, he gets a time penalty for cutting the inside of Sandoval. He made the move by cutting the corner, and as a result has been given a 3-second time penalty. That was fully deserved there, and he knows it, and he will lose out on that podium place which he's gained on the track. Oh, he almost loses it there coming out of Casino down to Portier. Here they go. Wow, Tezza Mazza living dangerously. Great move, great overtake, but he made the overtake off the track. He had 4 wheels on the curb at the time when he made that move, so he obviously gets that penalty as a result, and Bennett will take the 3rd place here in the classification.
Yeah, new gaming Bahrain 2021 flashbacks there with Hamilton and Max.
Oh yeah, when he had to get the place back.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen this week because I'm a Max fan, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, but
I don't think Lewis is going to be in the mix, to be fair. But we've got GGJ up towards the line. Yeah, you can never count out Mercedes. GGJ nonetheless takes the win here at Monaco for the sprint race. Demspecky's 2nd place. Those two having a great battle, but obviously the gap on the classification a bit more than what they were on the track down to Demspecky's penalty. Tezza Mazza coming out of the final corner is going to take 3rd on the track, but he will lose out on the classification. So Bennett takes 3rd ahead of Tezza Mazza. Dirk Turp, didn't really talk about him much on his debut tonight. He's going to bring it round for a 5th place finish, so not a bad position. Oh, so he gets a slide there but holds it. Yeah, good control.
Slide for the fans as Gamma's off around the corner. But yeah, double podium for Ferrari, very solid race. I think that's, what is that? Is that 13 points for Ferrari and 8 points for Red Bull? So already closing the gap in the constructors Ferrari. But we'll see in the main race what happens.
Definitely. So Danny Boy there coming over to take P7. Oh, as T gets a slide there coming through Raskas into Anthony Noakes. He's lost his front wing, but he is going to just about hold on here with the line coming up in the nick of time there. So T takes 8th ahead of Street Boy in 9th. But GGJ taking the 1st win of the night there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the F1 starting up tomorrow. Yeah, you can't count out Mercedes, but I tell you what, seeing Alonso up there, I'd love to see Alonso and imagine an Alonso Verstappen Hamilton championship battle.
Not an inch being given there without a championship rivalship in the balance in the equation. But yeah, I'm really just excited to see what happens. The problem with Hamilton,
if Hamilton got drawn into a championship battle with those two, he'd be the one at a disadvantage because he's the one with a teammate who's actually as good as him. Or nearly as good as him, whereas the others are all better than their teammate.
Well, that brings in the question of if a car favours a driver, because we all know that Max's car was significantly suited towards Max other than Perez. So is that a bit of team preference, or is it just driver style? So far in the testing, it's looking like Checo's a lot closer to him than he was last season. But again, last season we saw the same thing. As the season went on, they developed the car more to Max's liking. But so far, but in the early part of last season, Max and Checo were really even. I remember at Saudi, Checo was on pole. Yeah.
You know, it's but they will definitely develop it to his taste, and the same with Alonso as well. There's no way that they're going to be giving Stroll any preference. Yeah. It's that'd silly. Well. Yeah, I think I did that by accident.
Oh, it looks good. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'll take it. Yeah, it does look quite snazzy. So
before the race, any winner predictions?
Winner predictions, good question. For me, I can't really see past our pole sitter, GGJ. I think it's going to be a typical Monaco race for him, barring any mistakes. Yeah, he's my pick.
Yeah, any slip-ups could be absolutely fatal for a race here, but I think Demspecki. I'm going to vote Demspecki for this race. I think I normally vote for GGJ, but this time I'm going to switch up.
What do you reckon? I'm going to really probe you on this. Do you think it's going to be an on-track manoeuvre or strategy?
There's not much difference in strategy, really. All of them starting on the mediums. Well, actually, no, Bennett on the hards, so this could be interesting. Let me just bring up the tyre graphics. Denny Boy and Street Boy on the softs, and Bennett and Doctor on the hards. Bennett, I think, could prove a massive underdog. I mean, looking at the sprint results, like 18 seconds back, I think Bennett was. I don't think he could prove too much of a fighting chance in this race. So I think it's going to be either Demspecki or GGJ, but I think it's going to be on track.
You reckon that Demspecki's going to be able to find a gap somewhere out around this principality?
Yeah, it's either going to be an absolutely outrageous dive bomb that's somehow legal, or it's going to be a fair move. Probably the first one.
Yeah, I reckon if it's going to be done, personally, I think if Demspecki's got any chance of winning this race, it's going to be in the pits. But that's the beauty of motor racing. We just don't know how it's going to go, and obviously we're going to find out over the next sort of probably 45-50 minutes, because the Monaco race usually a little bit longer than the other races, as it's a much slower circuit. Obviously, all the Grand Prix are the same distance, same race distance to the nearest lap, obviously. But the Monaco considerably slower than the other tracks, so we're going to be. I think we need to make ourselves comfortable here, because we're going to be here for a while. But we're coming around here on the formation lap. Bennett, as you said before, could be a big player, and I made my prediction a bit too early, because I tell you what, if I'd seen that Bennett's going on the hards, I would have been tempted to go for him. But I'm going to stick with GGJ. I'm not going to switch now. It's too late to switch. You know, you've just got to stick with what you're going for. So I'm going to stick with GGJ. But here we are nonetheless, guys. 13 drivers on the grid, which is not too bad for Monaco. Half the grid has run scared tonight, which I'm not surprised about, because it's an absolute horror show of a track, and I'm very glad that I'm sat in the comfort of the commentary box and not out there suffering with these lads here. But we're lining up on the grid, getting ready to go for round 7 of Motive Racing's Formula 1 League here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. There's 10 people currently watching the stream. Guys, if you are enjoying what you're watching, please do hit the like button, as the lights are coming on at the head of the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix here at Motive Racing for Season 5. As here we go, and it is lights out, and away we go as GGJ gets a good start, and Demspecki not a great start, has got Bennett up his inside, but Bennett can't make the move. In the background here, Denny Boy's made a good start up into 5th place, and Street Boy's losing position, so is Thousand Corn, but GGJ leading up the hill towards Casino for the first stop here in this race. Demspecki right on the back of him, Bennett there in 3rd, as Street Boy's got back ahead of Thousand Corn up into 9th, round the outside. Great move there from Street Boy, making that move, as we can see Thousand Corn running into the back there of the car in front. You can see Crazy Max there losing positions. That was Crazy Max there who everybody was having to overtake, as Tezamos has lost out to the Mutts Nuts as well, so Mutts Nuts having to P6, but GGJ and Demspecki tied together at the moment. Bennett there in 3rd, and they're a bit ahead of Denny Boy, who's running in 4th place right now. But I've got to say, Max, once again on the first lap at Monaco, incredibly clean racing.
It was very good. Denny Boy with a solid move on Dirk Turp there, taking the rookie by surprise. But one thing I noticed is that Demspecki tried to have a go. I don't know where Monaco corner is, but it's into a downhill right-handed hairpin, and he was so close to just clipping the wall and turning himself round, and he even made a little bit of contact with GGG into those hairpin. But no harm done for now, and Demspecki yet again is right on the back of GGJ. He's not letting go.
Absolutely. We've got Phil Averton in the comments saying he lost the show. Absolutely, Phil. Always good to see you as well, mate. And thank you for your comment tonight. As GGJ fast step, obviously, because he's leading the race here. But got loads of comments coming in, and they're not actually showing up on my PlayStation for some reason. Oh.
Yeah. Demspecki was so close there up the hill. He's gonna have a go. This is the place where he made a move. GGJ's gonna go defensive.
Oh, he's gonna go for it! Oh my god!
Oh, he's round! He's so close to being round. Also, almost did a Leclerc at Raskas, clipping the right rear wheel and almost turning himself round again.
I'm going to call it on the stream right now, guys. If you are ghosting through the car in front, you must back out of it. You cannot complete a move by ghosting through the car. If you do start ghosting, please back out of the move. Otherwise, you will be penalised. as that's pretty much a given. I think everybody should know that. But right now, these two putting on a great show out the front as Dennis Becky's almost tapping him in the rear there as they came through the Nouvelle chicane. Bennett and Denny Boy running in third and fourth. Bennett's actually let Denny Boy go, and I think Bennett there, very sensible. Good. This shows where Bennett is a wise old head out there tonight. He knows he's running on the hard tyres and Denny Boy the soft. He thinks, right, this is not my battle. There's no way on earth I'm going to be able to hold him up. Just let him through and avoid the incident.
Yeah, really smart move from Bennett. I didn't really expect anything less, him being on a hard tyre. And yeah, but look at the gap already. It's 2.6 with Denny Boy to the leader. Well, obviously he'll have a massive advantage for the next like 2 laps or couple laps. But he's already on 0% ERS basically, Denny Boy. So we got a retirement there. 1,000 corner into the chicane. I don't know what's happened, but it was double waved yellow flags. Whether that was an incident or forced error, unforced error, no clue. But yeah, GGJ still in front with Dennis Becky behind him with 6/10.
Yeah, I just was watching Street Boy there as he came into the pits at the end of lap 2, so he's put some soft tyres on, obviously some damage on the car which he's had to fix. So Street Boy and Twitch Storms, 2 drivers to have already come in, 1,000 corn out of the race in the very early stages, so it's not been the night for him on a reserve appearance, racing, I think the only race that he's raced in so far this season, so what a shame there to for him not to have the night so far. But currently watching as they all come out of the tunnel. I'm just sort of flicking through all the drivers right now. The only battle going on track really is the battle for the lead between GGJ and Dennis Becky. Bennett's actually keeping up with Denny Boy despite letting him pass on the run up towards the back on the previous lap. So I don't know, Bennett might feel like he's being held up soon because he needs to try and keep it in. Denny Boy loses it. Oh no, wow. No, sorry, he's gone into the pits. Sorry, Denny Boy's gone into the pits. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean,
did he lose it and then decide to pit as a sort of? I think he might have lost it and then just thought, oh, you know what, I might as well come in seeing as I'm committed. Oh, did he?
He changed his front wing and there wasn't any damage in it. Whether that's on purpose or not, I don't know. I hope not, because and Ozzy Albi as well into pits. I think he had a little bit of damage there. But yeah, very surprising pit stop from Denny Boy. Unscheduled or not to my knowledge.
Yeah, very peculiar there, but we can see here the Mutts Nuts is trying to close up onto the back of Dirk Turp in the meantime for 4th and 5th places. Obviously Crazy Max is on the back of T as well as they're coming through down towards the Lowe's hairpin once again, but Crazy Max just trying to keep him under pressure at the moment. Ozzy Albi's just coming to the end of the pit, so he's now changed his front wing and it's good to go. Dennis Becky within 1/10 of a second here of GGJ as they're coming through into the swimming pool section.
A little bit of contact there, and Dennis Becky touches the wall, almost did a Verstappen in qualifying. But yeah, very close between these two. Dennis Becky is not letting this one go. He's hanging on for dear life as he just waits for DRS, and he gets it now. But again, this is the only DRS zone, and he can't do anything with it because this track's so just tight and narrow and just unforgiving as well.
You have to get unbelievable traction out of the last corner to have any chance of making a move into Sandoval, because it's also the Sandoval isn't even really much of a heavy braking zone in the grand scheme of things. You know, you're not really stopping that much, and it
tightens up massively into the corner as well because there's not enough space for 2 cars.
It tightens up at the wrong point because it's a very sort of easy entry, and then as you get into the apex, there's no room to make any moves. So yeah, you can't go too wide. I remember an incident which, to be fair, Max, you probably don't know who I'm talking about, but Hamilton and Maldonado came together there a few years ago. Oh, you know Maldonado? Oh wow.
Yeah, of course I do. Mate.
A bit before your time, I would have thought.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know.
History always has a way.
Yeah, of course.
History always passes its way down to generations.
I mean, if we're talking about history, those two definitely have a history.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, I know about Michael Schumacher and his before my time, so yeah, kind of these things, you know, they definitely get passed down. But yeah, currently the battle going on right now between GGJ and Dennis Becky. Dennis Becky, we saw him trying to make a move as they were coming. They were coming down towards or is it Massenet? Massenet's the corner, I think. Is it Massenet the one before the Lowe's hairpin? It's Massenet or Portier? Yeah, Portier's the one before the tunnel. Massenet's the one before Lowe's hairpin. I think. Don't crucify me, guys, if I'm getting this wrong. If anybody knows and is furious listening to this, please don't take it out on me too much. But Yeah, currently these guys are still running quite close. This is actually the corner where Demspecki tried to make a move a few laps ago. GGJ's got a much more healthy lead this time around. T's still got Tezmaza on the back of him right now as these guys going up the hill, as you can see there. Crazy Max, on the back of Tezmaza as they're coming up the hill, and Tezmaza's still within a second of T, who's just in front. But Crazy Max not getting a great run there coming through Casino, and not really able to keep that pressure on Tezza as they're coming through down towards Massenet once again. Gap between GGJ and Demspecki, it's gone up a little bit and it's come down again, so it's just kind of ebbing and flowing between those two right now. Dirk Terp's keeping a gap at just over a second to the Mutts Nuts in 4th and 5th places, but T's pulling away from Tezamaza and Tezamaza's pulling away from Crazy Max at the moment, and Bennett's not really keeping tabs with the two leaders. Obviously he's on the hards, we know that, but even when you consider that, I don't think he's got the pace to win this race as things stand at the moment anyway.
No, the best thing he can do right now is just hold on to 3rd, but yeah, Dirk's up a little bit, well, I say a little bit, 8 seconds almost behind Bennett, so he can't really do much. But on his debut though, Dirk's up very impressive, 4th place at Monaco as well. If he can keep this and just keep it out the wall as well, keep it on the track. But Demspecki out of DRS now, 1.2. So I don't know what's happened. Maybe he's holding back, recharging his ERS, just getting his mind back in focus, and just trying to attack on the next lap or next couple laps. Who knows?
Well, GGJ, talk about saving ERS. GGJ's still got pretty much all of his, so he's barely used any.
In the sprint race, but he was constantly completely up, and he's not going to use any because he knows that Demspecki just can't get past him, so he doesn't need to use any to really defend from Demspecki because he knows that he can't get past him.
Yeah, for sure. He's just doing everything right at the moment. It's GGJ, and he's keeping it calm. He's not getting ahead of himself. And it's currently paying dividends here. Dirk Terp's just extended his gap a little bit over the Mutts Nuts. You can see that's gone up to nearly 2 seconds now between those two. Crazy Max is still within a couple of seconds of T at the moment, and Denny Boy there running in 8th place, but obviously on the hard tyres now. Denny Boy, I wonder if he's going to go to the end because he put those on lap 5. 35 laps is not impossible around Monaco on the hard tyres. Tyre wear is not really too much of an issue around here.
I mean, being a short track, there's not much time to really punish your tyres, so yeah, it's a bit lenient. And the Mutts Nuts already into the pits. Is that damage? I think.
Oh,
yeah,
missing a front wing.
He hasn't got a front wing, so they're going to change that for McLaren.
Hard tyres going on. Surely he's going to try and go to the end from here then.
Yeah,
32 laps.
It's pretty easy, and yeah, you keep it up the wall as the tyres begin to drop off the cliff. Then it's a pretty easy strategy, just to pit early and hard and go to the end.
In the meantime, a gap at the front, still just over a second between GGJ and Demspecki, but GGJ seems to have just had to pedal run over the last couple of laps. He's got himself in a bit of a comfort here, but Demspecki's going to keep him on his toes. You can be sure of that for the entirety of this race. Can he get it done in the strategy here? Demspecki, is he just trying to look after his tyres maybe a little bit, try and go long? I don't know what the situation is going to be, because I reckon you could probably, it's not completely out of the question to go medium soft, is it, around here?
Not really. I mean, it's definitely possible. Anything's possible in the F1 game.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think it can work. It can work. Definitely work. Seeing as the degradation in the tyre wear isn't too high around here, I think it's definitely possible. But who's brave enough to give it a try? That's the question.
Well, Demspecki's kind of in a position where he can kind of afford to roll the dice a little bit, because he's got Bennett a long way behind, 13 seconds behind now. Bennett is 15 seconds off for the lead, so he's not really playing a role in this race the way that I'd maybe hoped that he might. Denny Boy's got ahead of T here as he's made the move down the inside into Sandoval, so good move from Denny Boy. I tell you what, we say it's hard to overtake around here, but Denny Boy has made 2 or 3 great manoeuvres here so far in the Grand Prix, and obviously he's on the hard tyres as well, albeit fresh hard tyres, but saying that, they're not really going to make much of a difference over T on the mediums. So Denny Boy here is finding the spaces here out on track. He's really making it work, and he currently runs in P5 at the moment. So yeah, he's driving an absolute cracker here tonight, is Denny Boy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's sort of impressive if you can gain a couple positions here in Monaco. But yeah, as he has done, 2 positions up. He's got a penalty though, which is 3 seconds of time for track limits, and he's already had a pit stop as well. So that's really impressive that he's kept P5, chasing after Dirk Terp on his debut in P4, and Demspecki just getting further and further away from GGJ. I don't think this is a plot anymore. I don't think this is on purpose. I think he's actually falling off here. Demspeki as well. I think, Andy, you could be right with GGJ being winner.
And GGJ, if you look at his battery right now, he has still not touched it. He has not deployed a single bit of his ERS, so he is just making sure that he's harvesting it. He'll be using it in the last few laps, I would imagine. Maybe he's not even going to need to. He might not even bother at this rate, but Demspeki, if he's listening to the stream, will probably know the situation with GGJ's battery. GGJ just seems to have the pace around Monaco here tonight. We saw him take pole in the World Truck qualifying session in the background there. I just saw the lap car of Twitch Storms losing it coming out the Nouvelle chicane. He's missing his front wing, but he survives terminal damage, so he's continuing on for the time being. But Twitch Storms there with a huge mistake, and he's going to come into the pits and get that repaired, and his race goes from bad to worse here tonight, as we see Demspeki into the pits at the end of lap 9. Or end up 10, should I say. So Demspeki coming in. What's going to go on his car? He's putting the hard tyres on. And yeah, so he might have had a bit of damage there that was costing him maybe a few tenths of a second a lap time. He's underway nonetheless. Can he now really push on these fresh hard tyres and go for the undercut here? It might be quite difficult because he was 2.5 seconds behind already. Plus that front wing change would have cost him another 3 or 4 seconds.
Now,
so
this raises up a massive question for GGJ. Does he pit this lap to cover off the Demspeki pit? Because if he does pit right now, GGJ, he'd be well clear, because Demspeki lost another 5 or 6 seconds or so because of the front wing change. So he could pit now whilst he still can and stay in front of GGJ and take advantage of this massive advantage that he's gained. So I think if I was GGJ, I'd pit right now and just go to end. And we all know that he's a very consistent driver, no mistakes, and he can keep his tyres in check. So I think, if I'm correct, GGJ will pit this lap.
Let's see, he's coming through in towards Raskas now, and through Anthony knows he's staying out for the time being. Yeah, so he's committing to a strategy, I think, where he's going to try and go long. Maybe he is going to try and put the softs on at the end, because GGJ's a driver who I've seen many times try and go very long into a stint, into the first stint, and he'll end up making his life quite difficult for himself. But I mean, what would we say? Maybe 25, 26 laps on the mediums, and then a 13 lap stint on the soft or something. Yeah, so he's not helping his cause at all there, as he's just putting a lap there on a McLaren of Aussie Albie there. Crazy Max has got ahead of T, and T there having a bit of a moment there as they came through the swimming pool they go. He's still on the back of him right now, but Crazy Max has got some traffic here in the shape of the Mercedes of Twitch Storms. So they're trying to have to deal with Twitch Storms, who's not having the race at all here tonight. Tesla Mazda's on the back of the Mutts Nuts, but he's had an absolute horror show here in this one so far, as he's still trying to find a way through as they're coming through. Raskas here, he's going to go and try and use the DRS down to start finish straight here on the Mutts Nuts, I'm sure. And here we go, DRS here for the Mutts Nuts. Is he going to be able to get around the outside here? Mutts Nuts sees him there. Tesla Mazda gets the move done into Sandoval. Great move here. So we are seeing a few overtakes here out on track tonight. Not too many, but we're seeing enough, I think, to keep us a little bit entertained here.
Yeah, for the time being, definitely there's been a little bit of action throughout the race, no matter what position. But Street Boy has had a little bit of error there, and that lets Tesla Mazda through.
Oh, he's got deep.
He's in the wall. Oh, he touched the wall there. I think he's got away unscathed because I can't see any damage on his front wing. But probably there's going to be a few marks in the trousers of Tesla Mazda there, as that's a very scary incident to have.
Absolutely, we've got Demspeki there, who's just on the fastest lap of the race, but he's got a time penalty, and we're also expecting that he won't have track position on GGJ at the moment. But what's GGJ's lap times like? Obviously a 1:13.3 there from Demspeki. We'll find out what sort of laps GGJ is doing when we get to the end of this lap, and we'll be able to kind of work out how long it's going to take for Demspeki to be within range here of GGJ. He's currently putting up onto the back of Bennett here is Demspeki, so obviously that's his teammate, and they're on different strategies, so I can't imagine that Bennett's going to make this too difficult for him. Probably be waving him by without too many dramas here.
Well, there you go, that's what we expected. Bennett let him through without any harm done, without holding up his teammate. He knows that he's on a completely different strategy and different pace tonight, as we've clearly seen, and GGJ's in the pits.
Yeah, so
he's gone to a hard tyre.
He waited an extra 3 laps there after Demspeki to come in, so it was a strange strategy. I think he was trying to go for a long one and then thought, you know what, play it safe. So he's brought it in, so he can definitely go to the end quite comfortably here on those hard tyres. He's going to have plenty of tread in those, and we'll be able to push them all the way to the end. where's Bennett in terms of these guys? Because he's 2 seconds obviously behind Demspecki, but he does need to pit in this race, but he'll be able to put the softs on at the end probably, so he'll be in a decent position as Denny Boy's got ahead of Dirkturf. Oh, somebody's lost it. There's a Haas there in the wall as they come through. In fact, that was Dirkturf actually who lost it, and he's lost out to Denny Boy there, so Denny Boy up into 4th place. Dirkturf there was the car in the wall coming through Raskas, so he's now down to P5, and Denny Boy there into 4th place. But GGJ has a 3-second lead at the moment over Demspecki, so Demspecki is not a million miles away, but obviously GGJ on the fresher tyres, I think, will be able to pull away in the final part of this race. He should have this one in the bag by the looks of it, barring any mistakes here.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see what's going on, but I've got a glitch in my game, bro. I'm stuck on the race director, so I'm going to have to close my game and rejoin.
So we got... In the meantime, Demspecki's closed in on GGJ over the course of this lap. Obviously, GGJ on sort of cold tyres, he's just come out of the pits. But Demspecki's really closed in so far on this lap. Nearly a second he's gained just on this lap alone. He's obviously got that time penalty, so that will, you know, potentially bite him at the end if he doesn't. Well, you know, if he were to find a way through ahead of GGJ, he'd still have to put a 3-second gap. So he's got a lot on his plate here, but. GGJ just needs to continue what he's doing right now, needs to keep consistent and not make any mistakes here. He should have the Monaco Grand Prix pretty much within his grasp. Bennett's dropping off at the back of Demspecki there in 3rd place. He's currently 8 seconds off of the lead and still needs to pit, but he should be able to put the soft tyres on at the end, so he'll be in a reasonably strong position. Denny Boy running in 4th place. He's only 16 seconds off of the lead, despite having some early woes, but his hard tyres will be quite warm by the time we get to the end of the race, so he'll be definitely skating on thin ice because he's going to have to do 35 laps on one set of tyres, which is a lot, even for the hards around Monaco. That is a lot of laps for one set of tyres to do, so is that going to work out? We'll just have to wait and see at the moment, but GJ leads by 2 seconds over Demspecki. You've got Bennett there, who's currently 9 seconds off for the lead at the moment, and the pack just kind of spread out at the moment. Not really too much going on, not really much to get excited about at this point.
Good news, I'm back.
Max is back in the session
after that crazy incident. But yeah, Demspecki keeping the gap at 2 seconds as it was before the pit stop. And Bennett's in the pits, his teammate Ferrari, Demspecki's teammate. Demspecki with a 3-second penalty, so that's going to harm him a lot there and really restrict his chances of winning. Which, unluckily, I'm going to lose some money tonight because I put a bet on him, but I didn't put any money on him. But
you're too young. You're too young to be doing that. What are you talking about?
Don't talk about this. Monaco. What happens in Monaco stays in Monaco.
Let's hope the game tech's not watching tonight.
Sorry, Dad. No, I'm joking. But yeah, 2 seconds between the top two with Denny Boy completing the podium with GGJ's sister team.
Yeah, so Bennett's come out on fresh medium tyres, so he should theoretically have the pace over Dirkturf and Denny Boy, but a long way to go in this race. I'd imagine he'd probably be able to catch Denny Boy between now and the end. He's 20 seconds behind, but obviously with 24 laps left to go, you'd think that would be doable on the fresher medium tyres here. But he's got to clear Dirkturf first, and that's not going to be any mean feat, but they're just coming up on some traffic by the looks of it. I'm not quite sure who it is. It looks like it might be a Mercedes here of Twitch Storms, and it is in fact, so you can see him just going through the exit of the tunnel right now, and Dirkturf and Bennett, we're putting a lap on him very, very shortly. Gap at the front between GGJ and Demspecki's just come down a little bit more here. 1.8 now the gap between these two.
Twitch Storms is in the wall out of the exit of the Nouvelle chicane, and from worse to worse.
It's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse squared. So he's going to be all the way to the pits. This 30 seconds of his life wasted, and he's in the wall again. So yeah, not the best race from Twitch Storms, but always next one, mate. Don't worry about it. At least it's the attendance that counts.
As here he comes, he's limping around. He's really struggling here tonight. But to be fair, good on him for continuing on, and also everybody who is still in the race as well. We had 13 people start the race. We've got 12 still here.
Only one DNF. Which is very shocking for Monaco. I'd expect like 5 of us to be in this race at most, but yeah, very solid. But Demspecki, however, has shaved off this lead by 7 tenths the last time I looked. But again, GGJ just hasn't used any ERS whatsoever, so he's still 100%, whereas Desvecchi with a measly 27%.
Well, I'm
So
concerned.
has he used a little bit?
I'm concerned that Desvecchi's pushing a bit too hard here. I just feel like he's going a bit overboard. I reckon he is probably really close to winning this because he didn't have this pace like we're seeing right now. Earlier on, he's just really sort of stepped it up here. But he might be able to put GGJ under pressure here, and if he can force GGJ into a mistake, then he might be able to get ahead and pull out enough of a gap to potentially win this race. He's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination between these two. Both of them can comfortably get to the end of the race, so it is going to be a straight up duel between these two.
You say force him into a mistake. Let's hope it's not contact, shall we?
Oh god, if it is, yeah. Oh my god, it's going to drag on and on and on. Yeah.
It won't be forgotten. Let's just say that.
Well, Red Bull and Ferrari. Red Bull and Ferrari go out their history this season.
Say, really. That's what I really need to say. Yeah, it's within a second now, and Demspecki is just wearing away his tyres as well. Not just his chances of not spinning. He's wearing away his tyres and just increasing his chances of making mistakes. So it's a good idea to try and get in front of Demspecki, in front of GGJ and run away for 3 seconds, because clearly he has the pace for now, but how long will he keep it is a question.
Definitely so, but we've got a few comments coming in here. It's not showing up on my PlayStation, so I'm not really able to read any of them, but we've got Glenn in the comments saying tough track this. Yeah, catching one thing, passing is another. Yeah, especially around here, generally if you can catch up, you're just going to be sat behind somebody looking at their rear wing. That's the closest you're going to get in the most part. But DJ Phil there also saying, I'm going to sort out a Twitch TV stream from Motive Racing and also put OBS on my computer and get a new Motive Racing start screen with royalty free music. Yeah, I used to run OBS. I used to have sort of NCS songs playing, and then basically my computer's busted now, so yeah, I could do with something like that actually. That wouldn't go amiss, that's for sure. But the one thing I like about these PlayStation streaming straight from a PlayStation, is that the quality is actually a lot better, and also the audio quality is quite a bit better. The only snag is that you can't sort of have an intro screen, you can't have a countdown. It looks a lot less professional because you can't have overlays and stuff like that. You kind of have to broadcast a lot of things that you don't really want to show on the stream, like the game lobbies and menus and stuff like that. You know, you don't really want to show those on the stream. That's probably the only downside. But the quality on the stream, the picture and the audio, I actually prefer it when it goes straight from the PlayStation to the YouTube.
I mean, I've streamed before on the PlayStation. I think that was like the finale of season 32 of PSGL, and it was like 1080p 60 FPS. So I think it was even 2K 60 FPS. So it was clear as day, and yeah, it was so good. Watching it back, it was just so clear, and yeah, PS5 is something else.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, it's night and day. PS5 to PS4, because I actually, for the Project Cars 2 leagues that we have here, I have to actually stream them on the PS4 because I can't access the game on my PS5 because it's obviously off sale, so I can't get it on the PS5. I've deleted it by accident and I can't get it back, and so I have to use it on the PS4. And I look at the streams from the PS4. The big thing is, always we see the nuts going into all on the back of Ted and Mother, but yeah, it's not the actual gameplay itself. The gameplay itself, there's not much difference in quality, but because you can only stream in 720 on the PS4, it makes such a massive difference. So you can sort of show much more clearly what you're seeing on the PS5. It really is. It's enormous, the difference in terms of a picture. But Demspecki nonetheless is on the back of GGJ here. Look at this, there's only under a second between these two now, so Demspecki's bringing himself closer and closer here in this fight. And I'll tell you what, GGJ's going to have to keep his wits about him here, because we say Monaco is hard to overtake, but it's easier said than done to hold your line and hold your nerve when you've got a prancing horse, the bright red Ferrari of Demspecki. And we know that these two, with the history that they've got, it's going to be really quite a tough ask here for GGJ to maintain that level of coolness here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being main championship rivals, no inches are given between these two. It's going to be weird. It's going to be wheel to wheel. I was about to say door to door, but there's no doors in F1. But yeah, Dennis Becky getting with a penalty. Time is running out. Time is ticking for Dennis Becky to get past him, if even can do that. But yeah, we'll see. You know, anything can happen in the space of these 17 laps. And I hope. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Dennis Becky into the back of GGJ. But yeah, let's just see what happens. And hopefully, there's going to be contact free.
Yeah, these two have been really good so far, to be fair. For all of their troubles, for all of their controversy so far this season, they've really put on an absolutely superb show. And around a track like this, that's so uncompromising, they're so evenly matched around this circuit, and they've really shown exactly what they're capable of and why they're in the position they are in the championship, why they are the role models here at Automotive. And you can see there Dennis Becky getting a little bit hot onto the curb there as it came through the harbour chicane, or through the swimming pool chicane actually it was, as we see Aussie Albie into the... Is that Aussie Albie? No, it's actually the Mutts Nuts there who comes into the pits just in front of them. But Dennis Becky with DRS down the start finish straight, that'll bring him that a little bit closer, but just not close enough, not nearly close enough to make a move into Sandoval. You need to have the part of the car alongside to make a move into there, and he just simply has not got enough traction coming out of Anthony Noakes, the final corner, to be able to make that move down the start finish straight. GGJ is just at the moment holding his ground as we got double yellow flags through sector 1, and the Mutts Nuts is out. Yeah,
I don't think that's a crash or anything. I think he simply just pressed the retired. And I think he's tried to retire the bits, but pressed it a little bit too late, and he's left. So yeah, I think very quick succession of events. But yeah, Mutts Nuts is out, and Aussie Albie is the only one to fly the McLaren flag.
Yep, currently running in P10 now is Aussie Albie, so he'll score a point for his troubles. So fair play to him for sticking with it, and obviously he will get a reward for it. But Dennis Becky within 8/10 of GGJ right now as they're coming through the swimming pool chicane down towards the final couple of corners of the lap again, and Dennis Becky trying to keep this pressure here on GGJ. On 3 lap older tyres is Dennis Becky, so he's kind of on the back foot in terms of what he's able to do, but it shouldn't make a huge amount of difference, but it will probably...
Right, my controller's disconnected. My controller's disconnected, so I'm going to have to plug it in and talk from my headphones, which is a massive pain.
That's alright. It's better than not hearing you at all.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of panic there. I thought it was my internet, but never mind.
No. Oh, I thought my game had frozen or something, because it came up saying wireless controller disconnected. I was thinking it disconnected me from the session. How do we sound? Is it terrible, or is it?
It's still terrible. It's pretty clear.
Okay. Right, I'm just going to turn it up because it's not very loud, it's not very clear on the on this one. There we go.
In the
Should be better.
T in the pits, and he comes out in P8, and Street Boy is nowhere to be seen. Well, he is right there basically, but he's got a penalty. The only people without the penalties are Aussie Albie, who's driven a pretty consistent race. Yeah, P10, he's going to score a point from McLaren. GGJ is 1.4 ahead of Dennis Becky. So, yeah, time is ticking for Dennis Becky, definitely. We'll see what happens, and I think Dennis Becky at this point is going to be panicking because he's got 20% ERS, and he's not gaining any ground on GGJ's 100% ERS battery. And it's just going to be wearing out his tyres and harming his stint into the last.
Oh, Bennett's out of the race! Oh my god!
That's out of chicane.
Oh no, that's going to be gutting there for the Ferrari team. A night where they could have gained points here on Red Bull, and Red Bull could end up leaving Monaco tonight still with the championship lead. Currently they've got 10 points over Ferrari in that constructors battle, but as it stands, they'll outscore Ferrari by 7 points in the Grand Prix, but obviously Red Bull would have outscored them in the sprint race, so it's going to be very close in terms of the battle in the championship between Red Bull and Ferrari going into next week. But yeah, bit of an unfortunate situation there for Bennett.
Is going to be jumping with joy, I bet, from being a Ferrari double podium to a Red Bull, and Ferrari won too. With Denny Boy, I think wasn't he running in the podium places last weekend or last week?
I think, yeah, I think he was.
He made a mistake or something.
Yeah, I don't think he. I think he finished in like P5 or something like that, or P6.
Yeah. So this is the redemption, and he's almost a minute behind Demspecki.
Just goes to show the dominance. Yeah, the speed that these two have got out the front, they own a class of their own. Absolutely. The only driver who I think could probably put them under any pressure here tonight would be, I think, Jalram, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean Jalram's going to be 50 seconds ahead of GGJ, so yeah. And I think Monaco's practices a lot as well, so yeah.
I don't know if he would be, to be fair. I think GGJ's not, I think that GGJ and Demspecki aren't actually, I think they're no slouch around here.
No, definitely not. But that Jalram 22 is superhuman. How he has that pace, I don't know. Honestly, I did a 1v1 with him like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just trying everything I can, and I've got like 0% ERS, and he's just not 100% ERS, just flying away. It's just like, how?
Sometimes you just gotta sit there and admire. You just can't stress yourself out or wonder why. You've just got to admire the talent that some people have, and just accept that there's just something that in them that makes them the way they are.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, it can be frustrating sometimes. I mean, I know the feeling. Sometimes I'm in an ACC public lobby and I'll see someone do a 1:40 around Imola or something ridiculous like that, and I'll just be thinking, how on earth is that even possible?
Yeah,
you know, I can't get within a second and a half of it, but it's like, you know, some people are just able to do things that others can't do. But
I talk to a guy daily, and I tell him my times in a PSGL track that I'm practicing for, and he just says, "That's slow."
Bruh.
Just like, mate, come on, I'm just trying.
To be fair though, it must be good having a guy like him to chat to.
He helps me all the time, helps me with my setup, and yeah, he's a great
so many
guy.
tips and tricks. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can't be the best, you can certainly learn from the best and be able to compete with those. Yeah, absolutely. So wow, that's going to be probably a fastest lap attempt, or maybe he's going to plan to try and reel GGJ in at the end.
I doubt it. With 11 laps, he's going to have to gain like, I don't know, 10 seconds, no, like 3 seconds a lap?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, how long is the first sector? It's about, what, 30? We'll find out in a moment. But yeah, Demspecki must be about 35 seconds behind, let's see. But he's coming into Sandoval now, so he's coming up ahead of an Aston Martin, obviously, who's a lap down. Actually, only 26 seconds here separating GGJ and Demspecki. So, over the course of 12 laps, 2.5 seconds a lap, I wouldn't say that's impossible.
Something like that. It's not impossible, but he has to get through his like lap or lap and a half to warm up his tyres, because he's definitely got a disadvantage. And I think that's a mistake by Street Boy behind.
Yeah,
no, it's Alpha Max. It's Crazy Max.
Crazy Max, yeah.
He went down the cul-de-sac of the
Rosberg runoff area.
Yeah, exactly. He did the Rosberg. But yeah, let's see what Demspecki could do in the soft tyres. If worse comes to worse, he has the fastest lap, and that's 1 point less taken away from Red Bull.
Yeah, it would definitely be something there for him, but Demspecki's already gaining on GGJ despite having cold tyres. That just goes to show you the advantage that you have on the soft. Oh, he's lost a bit of his end plate, yeah.
Demspecki touched the wall in there. He touched inside of the curb.
Front right end plate's gone.
Killed his chance. He's killed his chances of getting the win.
Has it? Because the end plate cut isn't always the end of the world, is it?
It's not, but he's going to come in again.
Coming in. Yeah, he's going to go for the fastest lap now. That's the best he can hope for, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. He's going to be like almost a minute, like 50 seconds behind. So I don't think that's going to be a win for Demspecki tonight. Again,
the excitement's gone.
Yeah. So nice weather we're having.
Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? That was an exciting minute. But we can see here, they've got an Alfa Romeo into the pits. That's Crazy Max. No surprise there to see him pitting. Obviously, he's got that damage on the front wing, which he's now getting changed, and he'll be off and away about now. But yeah, it's not gone well for Demspecki there. He obviously was in a position where he might have had a chance to chase down GGJ, and an off chance he might. That's now gone out. That's now gone down the pan. and he's 50 seconds behind GGJ. These two were separated by 2 seconds only a couple of laps ago, so how quickly a race can change in the blink of an eye. But that gap will probably come down a lot. I reckon it'll probably be under 30 seconds by the end of the race.
Yeah, something like that. I think he can gain at least 2 seconds a lap, and now he's got a fully charged, or almost fully charged battery. But I can't believe the skill of GGJ of just harnessing and just controlling his battery as much as he does. And now he's got the job of just keeping it on the track and not in the wall. It's not like he can't go off the track, but yeah, it's a good job for GGJ so far. Let's see if he finishes it.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine if we're singing his praises right now. We're saying what a job he's done. I mean, just imagine if he were to lose it now. You know what I mean?
I don't want to.
I don't want to imagine. No, neither do I. Neither do I. I'm just playing devil. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That's all I'm doing. Yeah. I don't want to. No, you're right. I'm tempting fate, and I shouldn't be. It's not right. It's not fair. Yeah, exactly. Oh God, commentator's curse. It is a real thing. Trust me. I've seen it. I've seen it in action. I've put it to the test, and it does actually work.
We should have the studio mic back on now.
Whoa.
So hopefully it will last the next 10 laps. So yeah, audio quality significantly improved again. I've had it on charge now for what, 5-10 minutes. Should last another 10 minutes.
It should, yeah. Well, we'll see. And Devspecky's already got the gap down to 48.5 seconds. But again, he's using all of his ERS. Well, not all of it, but he's using quite a lot. He's used like 30% already in the space of a lap. So that's one skill I think I would recommend Devspecky to work on. Yeah,
100%. GGJ's still not used any of his at all. He's just coming up on a McLaren here. That's Aussie Albie in the foreground just going through. Yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's got such a, he's very good at controlling, I think, his temptations here. He's just, is able to play the long game here. Oh, yeah.
That's a big crash, actually. He's like covering half of the track. That's a Latifi situation there in Abu Dhabi. Oh God, don't give flashbacks to that again. But yeah, I don't know how that's not a safety car.
I think there might be a situation, like I said earlier with Monaco, I don't think the safety car can come out.
I've seen it before. Have I seen it before? I don't think I've seen a safety car in Monaco before, you know. Yeah, crazy that. But yeah, Crazy Max is out, and that's one less driver for Alfa Romeo. Shoot Boy there's P6 with a penalty. But Dirktap's still very impressive in P5 with a penalty, with no penalties. So yeah, very impressive and very consistent drive from Dirktap. Very good drive in his debut.
Absolutely, the gap is down to 44 seconds between GGJ and Devspecky. So I'll tell you what, if Devspecky hadn't made that mistake through to back a couple of laps ago, where he lost his front right end plate, I reckon he might have even been in a shout of hunting him down and potentially taking the lead or challenging him for the lead at the end of the race. But obviously with that mistake, he had to come in for an additional pit stop, and that pretty much put pay to the chances of that happening. Which is a bit of a shame, obviously, for Devspecky and a shame for us as viewers, because that could have been an absolutely nail-biting finish to the race. But GGJ with a 40-second lead. The only person who can take the win away from him is himself at this point, I think, as he's just coming up on some traffic.
You're completely correct there. Nothing can stop GGJ today. He's just on a completely different level today. Devspecky, I've got to get sidetracked for a second because that Ferrari looks beautiful with soft tyres on. I mean, yeah, so people complain about how like the F1 2021 cars look better. I completely appreciate these new cars and the fact that they've got new liveries in real life this year. I think that definitely they're very underrated. I think these cars.
Yeah, I for some reason I really liked the. I liked the year that we had, 2017 before the Halos. For some reason, I really liked the last year of the open cockpit ones, which was the first year of the new regulations, the ridiculously OP regulations, the cars that we had between 17 and 21. For some reason, the 17 cars for me, I always think of them as some really nice looking cars. But obviously, the ones we had in the last couple of years as well have been something almost sort of like out of a movie.
Spaceship,
in a way. Yeah. They're just something like like a prototype sort of
Yeah, exactly.
design. Yeah.
It's like a Gran Turismo Vision car, but
Yeah.
I don't know how many people will get that joke, but yeah, I think Ferrari looks so good in this year. I love they've kept the Ferrari like letters on the rear wing, like they did in Monza last year. But I think that the F1 2021 cars just looked a bit too boxy, if you know what I mean, because the rear wing was just like a letterbox, and it was just like covered up on both sides, where this side looks just more aerodynamically just appropriate, which it is this year.
It's ironic because the actual, basically before the arrows were, the more boxy was actually the more sophisticated kind of setup. Now obviously it's actually, although it looks much nicer, this is a much more simplified design.
Yeah, we've got all the front wings. I've missed the old front wings of like I can't remember what year it was. I think it was like 2015, where they're so complicated. Like just on the end of the end plate, you get like loads of different just shapes and winglets and all that. I think, as a viewing perspective, it looks a lot more just better.
100%. These rear wings are like you had in the mid 2000s, which were really good. If you ever get the chance, look back at sort of like from, I'd say probably about I'd say 02, 01, 02 to all the way till about 08. The rear wings on those cars were beautiful, and then from about 09 until, I'd say probably all the way up until about maybe, could have even been nearly a decade. You had those boxy rear wings that you're referring to, the ones that, you know, were sort of not very wide and very tall.
Yeah, restricted almost.
Yeah, they look like gates.
Yeah, exactly.
But the irony is that those rear wings, they were the quicker rear wings. They were the ones that had more downforce. The ones we have now are massively simplified.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously you make up for it with the ground effect. That's the reason why these cars are able to compete with the ones we had before 22, because the ground effect is so much more intricate on these cars, and it was much more simplified on those cars.
Yeah, it's much more simplified. But I think even the Monza, the very small rear wing, they just had, I think, did they? I can't remember, I don't know what word it is, but make the wings smaller in Monza last year. I can't actually remember. I think they kept the wings the same size, didn't they?
Yeah, I think what was it, Mercedes did something to theirs, didn't they? But Red Bull kept the same one.
Which is very interesting because, you know, in F1 2021, every car had a smaller rear wing for the top line speeds. But yeah, I think with all these new cars, I think they look amazing, personally.
Definitely so. We can see Denny Boy's just come out. He's just been into the pits and put some soft tyres on here. So he's been in. He's obviously going to go for a fastest lap attempt here. He's got 6 lap fresher tyres than Demis Becky. So
that's at ERS.
He should be able to probably nab Demis Becky. Yeah, probably just nick it away. Just be like, yep, sorry Demis Becky, I'm going to relieve you of that. So Demis Becky, if he's very smart here, will also come in now, because then he'll be able to nick the fastest lap off of Denny Boy when Denny Boy inevitably nicks it off of him.
Does Demis Becky have enough tyres? Because he pitted twice for fresh softs. I doubt he has another set of softs. So yeah, that could be a big issue there. I think Denny Boy, obviously being in the AlphaTauri sister team to Red Bull, has done GGJ a massive favour here, and keeping them the points. Oh, Denny Boy hits the wall there a little bit though, and T's retired from the session.
Oh no! Well.
That's on the exit of the casino. Very easy to make a mistake there with all the curves and stuff. And that's not a safety car, so shock. But yellow flags all around there, and that's completely covering the track there. As I was riding on board the GTJ, but yeah, sidewards, horizontally was T, and he's out of the race.
Yeah, what a shame there. So obviously he's parked in a bit of a precarious position, but the marshals here at Monaco are somewhat superhuman. They're able to get a supersonic crane onto the track before you actually can even see it, so you don't actually see it happening. It's just like that's it. It's gone. The car's out of the way. No dramas. No hangabouts. It's sorted. Yeah. Mike in the comments there, the champion of the Clio Cup on Project Cars 2 here at Motive. He says fastest lap attempt 100% from the AlphaTauri. Yeah, definitely. So Denny Boy, I think we're going to be seeing a purple what's it called, a purple marker popping up on our screen very shortly here from this man who's just coming through into back right now. So if it's not this lap, it will probably be on the next one. Demspecky has not been tempted by the looks of it.
He's giving everything. He's in the wall again. He's tapped the wall. I don't think there's any damage.
Oh, he's deep through
Raskas. Almost in the Schumacher there. To a line, he's using all of his DRS.
Fastest lap's a 13.3, I think, so far, isn't it? So this is going to be the fastest lap, surely. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because Demspecky did a faster lap. He must have done.
Yeah, the fastest lap's 11.2, and so he needs 1.7. I don't think he can do that, Danny Boy. And I think he's got a lot of understeer there, so he might have a penalty, might have damage in there.
Yeah, potentially. So Danny Boy, yeah, he's going to have to really pull it out of the bag. He's a second down on that previous lap that he just did a few moments ago. So I think he's got his work cut out, like you say. Looking on the timing screen, Dirkter is now within 4 seconds of Tezemuzzer, and Tezemuzzer on 30 lap old hard tyres. So Dirkter will definitely have the momentum here at this point in the race.
And a penalty from Tezemuzzer as well. He needs to gain half a second at least, or at most, to gain a position, to gain P4 in his opening race, which is very impressive.
Yeah, it really is. When you consider it's not an easy task to jump in here with the drivers that we got here at Motive. You've definitely got to have your wits about you. But Dirk Turp here, currently standing on the fringes here of a 4th place, and what an interception that'll be for him, as GGJ is now on the final lap of the race. He's coming through Casino for the final time. So we'll stay on board with him, seeing as there aren't really any battles going on right now. We're going to stay with our race leader. He's got basically half a lap left to go here at Monaco, and he's controlled things from the front. He took pole position in the one-shot qualifying, soaked up all the pressure from Demspecky throughout the sprint race. Demspecky put him under an enormous amount of pressure, but GGJ held firm to it, didn't make any mistakes, was able to just keep him behind, and like you need to do at Monaco, park your car in all the right places and just be pretty much flawless in every way. And he's got over a 30-second lead over Demspecky. I predicted it would be down to about 30 seconds by the end, with Demspecky's soft tyres, his fresh soft, gaining around 2 seconds a lap. But GGJ coming through the swimming pool chicane for the final time, and down towards Raskas he goes. Here at the night time, out on the streets of Monte Carlo, it's going to be GGJ out of Anthony Nogues and up towards the line. It's going to be the checkered flag here for the Monaco Grand Prix, and a magnificent double here for him as he slows it and parks it and does a little bit of a burnout there as he crosses the line. GGJ, a dominant victory here at Monaco in the end. What could have been maybe if Demspecky hadn't had to come in for that extra pit stop? It could have been close, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it could have been really close, and it could have been an amazing photo finish almost, probably Indianapolis style. But yeah, disappointing race, but I'm not disappointed with the action we've seen today. 7 drivers out of the 13, and Demspecky weaving a little bit there, accepting 2nd place, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, it's definitely damage limitation from the damage he caused himself, but yeah, definitely a solid race. Denny Boy coming home P3, and Tezemuzzer, I think it was Tezemuzzer, was it Tezemuzzer coming home P4? No, the Doctor coming home P4.
Penalties changed it, I think, something changed.
Penalty. And so it's a very good race from Doctor, very proud. And Denny Boy with the driver of the day, finishing the podium.
Yeah, what a race that was. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and all the comments as well, to Mike, Phil, Glenn, Martin, William, Toti0K, Seb as well. Thanks to you guys for tuning in here tonight. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like on the video. If you're one of the drivers or a friend, family member, or otherwise associate of any of the drivers, then please do also drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Next week we'll be back at the same time as always here at Motive. Round 8 of a 22 round season. We will be at Azerbaijan. We'll be at Baku next week for round 8. So definitely tune in at the same time as always for the sprint and Grand Prix. But Max, I've got to ask you, for your driver of the day, I think I know the answer.
Oh, if it's anyone other than GGJ, you're lying.
Yeah.
I'm just playing that.
Yeah,
very
pretty much.
Really, just extremely consistent drive, keeping it in the lead. Just didn't even give up the lead once throughout the whole race. It's got the pole position, winning the sprint race, winning the race. Unfortunately, not the fastest lap. Otherwise, that would have been an absolutely just astounding weekend from GGJ. But yeah, extremely impressive, and just proves how much of a good driver he is and how deserving he is of this championship. But a long way to go, only a third way through the season. Anything can happen, but yeah, we'll see. It's looking very, very strong for GGJ.
Definitely, championship leader coming into this. He'll extend his gap, so he's in control. But guys, we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, and we'll see you at the same time as always. Thanks everybody, and yeah, good night.
Have a good evening.